Hello, everybody. My name is Hank Weisinger, and the only thing you really need to know about me is I am a psychologist, and as such, I've been listening very intently to all your other speakers here. I can honestly say that I have the most interesting subject. And you know why? Because my subject is you. For 30 years, I have developed certain expertises that have been all over the world, written many books, and you just think about them, and then you'll decide if it applies to you. The first is giving and taking criticism. Many years ago, when I was a graduate student at the University of Kansas, I was in a mental health center as a student, not as a patient. And all of a sudden, a psychiatrist came in, started criticizing a friend of mine for about 40 minutes. Not an exaggeration. She started to cry. Psychiatrist walked out of the room and said, see, she doesn't even realize when she's getting defensive, with no awareness of how he was communicating that information. Well, that dawned on me. When was the last time anybody came home and said to your partner, I had a great day today, I got criticized? My prediction would be that before you go home from this trip, that about 75% of you will have irritability with your partner because of the act of criticism. I want you to start thinking about how do you criticize your kids. I have seen as a therapist criticism destroy marriages. I have seen it create conflict in relationships, and I have seen it destroy the self-esteem of children. First YPO university I ever spoke to in Rome, a guy came up to me afterwards and he said, you know what, your talk was the story of my life. I went to Harvard, I got my MBA from Harvard, I run my own business, and my parents still make me feel like I am a failure. If you are the president of a company, I want you to think, how much criticism do you get from your staff? I have found that many presidents, both CEOs in Fortune 500 companies, smaller companies, surround themselves with professional yes people. This is what you want to hear, boss. This is exactly what we will tell you. And if you are not getting criticism from your staff, then I want you to think, how do you develop? If I went around the room and I said, fill out the sentence, when I am criticized, I feel, I already know what the answers are going to be, hurt, put down, angry. Every once in a while, a person will say, challenge as an opportunity, and without a doubt, those people who perceive criticism as information that can help them grow have an edge. If I wanted to leave you with one takeout for giving criticism, it would be strategic. That means anytime you criticize anybody, I don't care whether it's your kid, your partner, your best friend, how can I communicate this information so the person's going to be receptive to it? How can I communicate to my son that if he wants to do better in school, he has to study harder, get him to be receptive to it? How can I communicate to my daughter she has to watch a cell phone bill, get her to be receptive to it? How can I communicate to my subordinate that he needs to be more effective with the people he works with and get him or her to be receptive to it? And for taking criticism, the one takeout is to train yourself, anytime somebody criticizes you, information that can help me grow. Now, shortly after I developed an expertise in giving and taking criticism, I developed an expertise in anger management. Many of you saw the movie Anger at Work with Nicholson and Sandler. I was in it. I'm in the scene in Yankee Stadium sitting right behind home plate. I have much more presence in the deleted scenes on the DVD. Now, I will tell you that many people have difficulty. I would say most people in this room will have difficulty in terms of managing anger. But anger was really a microcosm for getting me into another area, emotional intelligence. The idea of using your emotions in an intelligent manner. Using your emotions, your feelings, your moods, the emotions, feelings, and moods of others as a source of information that allows you to navigate through life more effectively. I have no doubt, because I ask this question every week to Fortune 500 companies and business schools such as Wharton and UCLA, what are the 3 most frequent emotions that you experience during the course of the day? I would bet significant money that 90% of the people in your organizations are going to say what everybody else says: frustration, anxiety, and fear. Some people will say enthusiasm. Oh yeah, do you spend more time at work being frustrated or more enthusiastic? I would say, and this was what the front article in the New York Times, this is the major emotion in corporate America, are those, if you want to survive, you have to manage frustration, anger, anxiety. Forget about thriving. If you want to thrive, you have to create what I like to call emotions of wealth: confidence, optimism, tenacity, and enthusiasm. If you are a parent, I would hope you would be thinking, how do I make my kids confident? How do I make them optimistic? How do I make them tenacious? How do I make them enthusiastic? I don't care whether you're getting ready to give a presentation. I don't care whether you're getting ready to play tennis or take an algebra test. If you are confident, optimistic, tenacious, and enthusiastic, all of those emotions enhance performance. I would be hoping if you are running a sales-oriented company, how do I make my salespeople confident, optimistic, tenacious, and enthusiastic? So when we're talking about emotional intelligence, the way it plays out in your life, just ask yourself, how well do you deal with adversity? How quickly can you change a setback to a comeback? How do you work out conflict? How do you work out conflict with your partner versus working out conflict with somebody in business? And why is it different? It's like anger expression. I would bet my life on it that every parent in this room has yelled at their kids. Now you tell me, why is it okay to yell at your kids who love you, but it's not okay to yell at a key business partner? What are the rules that govern emotional expression in your family and in your organization? One of the things I've learned is that we express the same emotions, but we do it differently. A Japanese woman, for example, will express anger towards her mother-in-law by having an imperfect floral arrangement on the table. In America, they throw the flowers at the mother-in-law. But the point is, they both have to deal with it. When we talk about emotional intelligence, we're talking about things like self-awareness. We're talking about mood management. How good are you at managing your moods? Bad news happens in the morning. How long is that going to keep you in a good mood or in a bad mood? See, I have great mood management strategies because I know I cannot be productive when I'm in a bad mood. So what are they? Call up my friends, puts me in a good mood. Play with my son, puts me in a great mood. Watch The Godfather, puts me in a fantastic mood. Now, my wife has mood management strategies. She'll change her mood by going shopping, but look what that does to my mood. And that's an important point because what I want you to realize, emotions are like a social virus. They spread from one person to another. When they play music or get you to clap, sound carries emotion. Start to think, what does an angry voice sound like? What does an anxious voice sound like? The faster you recognize that your kids are anxious, the faster you can respond to them. So that's what emotional intelligence is all about. And as you know, the bottom line is that emotional intelligence is by far a better predictor of your success than your traditional IQ. Studies have shown that at best, an IQ, at best, 10% of your success. That means there's 90% out there that is unaccounted for. And most of you, because most of you never took a course in self-awareness, most of you never took a course in managing your emotions, most of you never took a course in giving and taking criticism. If I were to say how many of you had those courses in college, nobody would raise their hand. But if I were to say how many of you had a history course, everybody raises their hand. Now you think, when was the last time somebody came up to you at work and said, who the hell was that general in the French Revolution? Totally unnecessary, but those are the things that you would memorize, and you see, they really don't take you very far. During the last few years, I have become very interested in the field of evolutionary psychology, and I'm very excited about the last topic, which is the genius of instinct. Everybody in this room is hardwired to be successful. Yet, when I look at most people, I find that most people, whether it's in marriage or at work, are surviving rather than thriving. And that is because they are not using their instinctual tools. The only reason you have your instincts is they've been working for hundreds of thousands of years, and they help you solve problems. I will give you 6 problems that every marriage, family, and organization have to solve to be successful, to thrive, not to survive. 1, how do you create an empowering environment where people can grow? 2, how do you protect your vulnerabilities? 3, how do you develop other people? 4, how do you create cooperation? 5, how do you pull people towards you? That is the function of beauty, to attract others towards you. And 6, how do you accelerate your learning? And that is the basis of your curiosity instinct. You will see a list of the instinctual tools on that bookmark that I had passed out. If you didn't get one, come up and I will be happy. Also, if you would like a free CD with no other solicitation on emotional intelligence, just feel free to give me your card. Thank you for listening. It's all about you. I hope you found it to be interesting and practical. Thank you.